That was
What
dope.
is going on, everybody? Yeah, Justin, it's pretty cool, man.
I am a fan of that.
I thought it was like a pre-rendered thing from YouTube, and then I saw like on the TV screen like it had all
it's
our
all
little,
you guys. It's all us.
I was
It's
like,
all
yeah,
him.
cool.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my goodness. No, hey, good job. Good friggin' job.
Yeah, Justin was working on that, so he didn't do any editing on the shorts this week. So the shorts, if you can tell, the production
So he
when
was slacking. Is what
it started. No, I
he's
did it.
not doing enough. Is what you're saying.
I was about to push for a raise for you, Justin, but oh well.
Yeah, we're done. Yeah, I get it.
I learned
get
how
it.
to use CapCut this weekend because of Justin. I think I got pretty good at it by the end of the week.
I'm returning my applause. I take it back.
That's totally fair.
No, but seriously, that was excellent.
Very good.
Good.
Very good.
Glad you liked it. Cool.
Well, we have been, we did the 10-year show, and then we did last week's Remake Revolution. So I thought it'd be fun to catch up with some movies that we've seen lately that we haven't really talked about, and some geek news that we haven't talked about at all that maybe we should. And I want to kick it off. We'll do Max's anime minute in a minute, but I do want to recommend a rom-com.
Maniac Minute.
Close enough. Anyway, the rom-com anyone but you with Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney is awesome. It is awesome. I can't remember the last time I laughed out loud watching a movie, and I laughed out loud quite a few times. Has anybody seen it?
Nope.
Anyone but
It's
you?
it's in my Netflix queue. I've been meaning to see it. I just haven't gotten around to it, but I've heard some good stuff about it.
Yeah, I like both of them quite a bit, especially her. I've seen her in more things than I've seen him in, but their chemistry in this movie is so good, and I can't believe how funny it was. Like, I can't remember, like, you guys know I watch rom-coms, but I don't come on here and recommend them to the audience. Like, this one it was pretty good. Like, I think a lot of people would enjoy it, so definitely go check it out. And it's not like a hot take me saying it's awesome. I think everybody's already on that train. I think I'm late, but
It
yeah,
did really well at the box office. It did really, really well, I think. So,
Nice.
all right, Max, what you got for us? Max is like,
dude, the comedic timing for that was incredible.
he's like, I quit the
Holy
show.
cow.
that was perfect.
All right, well, we wait for
Yeah. Well,
while we wait for Max. Mike, let's talk about the First Omen. First, before you dive into it, what's your stance on the franchise? That franchise.
So I enjoy the actual First Omen. I enjoy the first movie quite a bit, just because I feel it's solid filmmaking of that era with Gregory Peck, and taking a pretty like devastating like role. And then from there, the sequels vary in quality, and also my exposure to the sequels was I was in college freshman year, hang out in a friend's room, and she and I were just getting drunk and watching all 4 movies in a marathon. And so part 2, Damien, it's fine. Kind of unnecessary, I felt. Part 3 with Sam Neill as adult Damien, he's the best part of that movie, but then it gets, I don't know, kind of ridiculous. I don't remember part 4. And that's pretty much it. And then I heard about this one, and you know what? I actually kind of enjoyed this prequel, because it is a prequel. Even though the connections to it at the end, I felt we didn't necessarily need those. I felt it could stand on its own as its own thing. But I might get into another movie that kind of does a similar thing that was released this year that also stars your girl Sydney. But it was fun. It was really stylized, and wow, I was kind of blown away at some of the stuff that they were showing in it. Like I made a tweet of like, there's one scene, and I watched it on Disney Plus / Hulu, and right after that scene, there's a lot of weird feedback or something going on here, but after that one scene, there was a commercial for Push Pops, and I was like, that's unfortunate timing.
I agree with you. I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I hate the fact, I know, like, it's forward thinking, like we always say, don't plan ahead too much, but I kind of wish this wasn't directly into the original, because I kind of would like to see where this director went with what she set up at the end of this movie, because there's something she sets up that's not touched on the original Omen franchise that I find more fascinating than, I find the idea of it more fascinating than the actual original Omen movies.
Oh, you mean like where? Okay, where were those characters in the sequels? In other words,
Well,
like,
I think there's a
mean?
good. I think there's a good story to be told there that I'd like her to continue, but since they tied it up to the original, I don't know if we ever will get that. And I said the director, she did such a good job. I'm trying to find her name so I can give her credit.
It did something that, again, we'll probably touch upon with a movie later on, but it did the fan service thing in the end of the movie a lot better, I felt, where it's just like, here's a reference, here's a photo of someone you know from the original movie. You don't need to actually have that character show up as a weird CGI puppet. Here's just a photo of that character, and it works. It's more low key and stuff. Max is just phasing in and out of reality today.
It's fine. It's three geeks. Her name's Arkasha Stevenson. Great job directing this. I cannot wait to see more from you.
That lead performance. What's her name? The character's name was Margaret.
Yes,
really good.
Nell Tiger Free is her name.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's why it's a really cool name too. But no, I liked her performance a lot.
It is my favorite movie in that franchise. I'm not a huge fan of the franchise. There's a moment in the second one that I thought was really cool, but it's there and gone in the span of 30 seconds that we didn't Damien realizing he's the Antichrist and what that means for him. We spend 1 minute of him in bread and it's gone. It's gone. I think that would have been the interesting exploration.
I really felt the second one was, for the most part, really unnecessary. It's well made. It's just that you could have made the jump from the first Omen, the actual First Omen movie, to part 3 with Sam Neill, and in between you could have put the pieces together that, Damien figures out what he's supposed to be. The second one really didn't, like you said, establish that as necessarily as it could have, and so yeah. There were elements in this movie that I really liked, like the idea of there's always going to be kind of a guardian there for those types of people, as it were. And man, those people are devoted. Holy crap.
Yeah, when you said you had thoughts in the chat, I'm like, oh, Mike didn't like this, because when I'm watching it, I'm like, because I don't recommend very many movies to you, and this one I was watching, I'm like, I think Mike will like this, and then when you said I have thoughts, I'm like, oh, Mike didn't like it, so I missed something.
Oh no,
all of his thoughts are bad.
No, yeah, I had thoughts in the positive sense. I'm like I said, where other more mainstream horror stuff would probably shy away from getting too grotesque, I appreciated that this movie got grotesque. That scene before the Push Pops commercial, I was like, I was shocked that it was happening, and then immediately the commercial happens and I started laughing. I was just I'm like, that's such bad timing, Disney. But I like the scene itself was really effective. I was just like,
and the
wow.
idea of doing a period piece. I wish more horror movies would do that. Instead of making this set in the modern day or try to make it a prequel to the remake, they made it a prequel to the original and set it back then. I thought it was cool. If you're going to go back to these old horror franchises, set it in the time. Don't modernize it.
I just love Rome too. Any excuse to shoot movies in Rome, do it.
Absolutely. Max, what do you got for us?
All right, My Hero season 7. I'm not sure if it has been going for a while now or if it dropped recently, and I don't care. It is all out now. So I watched it from beginning to end. It took me a week. I am still digging this show. If you need a Naruto or a DBZ in your life that hole has not been filled, My Hero is doing God's work, and no, season 7 was dope. The only thing I don't like is they save everyone all the time. Some people just need to die. I shouldn't say they save everyone, but they mostly they have a 99% save rate, and let it happen. Let's feel bad about missing this person. That's real stuff. So yeah, that would be my major critique against it is they superhero just a little too well in that show. But I'm still having a lot of fun, and I was happy to see season 7 in my Crunchyroll watch list there. So yeah, watch that, and it's good. So if you're a My Hero fan and you had your head under a rock like me, it's out. Season 7's finally out, and it's dope.
I love that, man. When you don't know your season of your show is out and you're flipping through and you see it, it's one of the greatest feelings ever, especially doing what we do with the podcast weekly. It's so hard to not be in touch, at least for me. And then when you see something that's coming out that you didn't realize was coming out, it's exciting.
Yeah, it was weird too because it's not like in my Crunchyroll they have their little banner or whatever, and it's like watch my hero, and I'm like, yeah, bro, like it's in my watch list. Like, why are you trying to? It's like, oh, the new season is here. Okay,
that's the way it was for Cape Crusader when that came out. Like, I had no idea that was coming out until I saw you guys talking about it in the chat. I'm like, oh crap, all of it, nice.
Yeah, I knew it was coming, but I thought we were a year out from it, so that one got me. But one of the movies, I actually had the same similar thing. I was flipping through Amazon and I saw a new John Cena movie I didn't know was coming out called Jackpot. And guys, this movie's premise is batshit fucking crazy, but it is funny. I'm not an Aquafina fan, like at all, but I thought her and John Cena in this movie, I thought John Cena and her in this movie were so good. It's almost like The Purge. So California has this new thing. It's in the future, and person wins the lottery, and the rest of the state has until dawn to kill this person, and then they win the ticket and they win the lottery. And John Cena plays a for hire protector, and it's so good. And every time she walks down a street, everybody on the street gets alerted that she's there, so they all just grab weapons from everywhere. It's so funny. I had so much fun watching. It's one of those turn your brain off and just enjoy the movie. But yeah, John Cena.
Do you know who directed it or who was behind it?
Paul Feig.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, it's John Cena.
Ever since the 2016 Ghostbusters, he's been doing darker comedy type of stuff.
Yeah, he's got a
more cynical edge in a lot of his movies. I've noticed.
He's jaded now. He's a little hurt and broken.
Was Simple Favor after Ghostbusters too?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah,
because I think Ghostbusters was his actual first big movie thing, because he'd been doing directing jobs for The Office and Parks and Rec and things like that, I think. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Awesome. Oh, Bridesmaids.
What service is it on?
Bridesmaids, that's right. Amazon.
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 Prime. Yeah, it's a Prime original. It was a lot of fun. What is going on? The Chlebeck?
Schlebeck? Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Yeah, we are geeks.
No,
we're not Greeks. We're geeks.
No one here.
Share me the truth. That's awesome.
That's right. We are giving you.
You just posted an activation code for something.
Oh my goodness.
The Greeks are here.
Jason, do you remember George the Greek?
I do, man. He was still delivering me pizzas until I moved here.
Oh my goodness. We used to there's this delivery driver at the local pizza shop that Jason and I have known for 20 years. And he's a Greek dude.
Do you call him George the Greek to his face?
Yeah, I mean, he's the only Greek person I'd ever met in my entire life. So he's
when we worked there with him. But yeah, man, every time George would show up the pizza, because Donato's is still one of my favorites, I had it. Everybody else would get the standard tip, but if I saw George, I had to pull extra $10 for him. I always tip George very, very well. I got my pizza so fast all the time. And Ron, I'd tip Ron too. But
what ethnicity is Ron?
White.
It doesn't matter.
Not
Greek. No, this guy would be having a conversation with you, normal conversation. His mom would call him, this grown ass man, and then he would just get into this shouting match with his mom without skipping a beat in Greek, and so you have no idea what they're saying, but it's just going a mile a minute. It sounds crazy, and then hang up the phone and just start talking to you again, not skipping any beats, and just it was
my big fat Greek wedding stuff.
And knowing that his mom is outside in the car with him, he's delivering pizzas. She's calling him from the car.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay. That's an extra layer of weird. But okay.
It's
I love that man.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Though.
Well, there you go. You get dinner and a show. That's pretty fun.
Domestic disputes with the Greek.
Who knows? It might become a murder mystery thing. For...
That would be sad, but it would still be cool. I'd be down. Like that's fine.
No, I mean that's cool that you had regular like delivery people or regular people that you interacted with that were personalities that stood out.
Mm. He could have been George the Greek could have been in a Kevin Smith movie. He could that character could be in a Kevin Smith movie. I think like he would just fit somewhere in there.
He could be in a Max movie.
Yeah, as soon as it's the first one that happens, he's going in it.
Yeah.
For sure.
Make a mental note.
All right, well, let's talk
George.
about it.
I've already made an actual note. That's a note that I'd made previously. It's fine.
You've had that months in advance.
Yeah.
That's gotcha.
Since 2000. But Alien Romulus, I finally got to see it. It is my second favorite movie of the year that I've seen so far. Fede Alvarez nails the suspense in this movie. And I was worried because I had high expectations going into this, and more and more waiting, and then Scott liked it, and oh my god, Scott never likes anything, so that added a different layer.
Scott likes things, he just doesn't like anything that you like.
On the rare occasion when the stars align, you guys.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, now I've got the added I loved it. I loved the movie. I loved the lead. A lot of the characters I didn't care about, but I did care about the lead. I thought she was really, really good. She had a nice arc throughout the story, and
what's her name? The junior photographer from Civil War.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I was like, where have I seen this person before?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yep. No, I like
she's
her.
good.
I liked her in that movie too. So like, I like her.
Mm-hmm. The actress's name is Kaylee Spaney.
Yeah, Spaney.
I don't know. I saw it, and I don't know how spoiler we're gonna get, but like, I didn't really like any of the humans in this movie. I was one of the ones where I was like, okay, the alien can have all of you. I was very indifferent to it.
I mean, we've all seen it, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think so.
So we can get into spoiler talk about it, certainly. But
Now we put
I get what you're saying, Justin. I mean, that one character though, it served a purpose because I'm like, oh, I can't wait for this dude to die because he's an asshole.
1,000%.
Oh yeah,
1,000%.
like that was
the cousin.
That was the easy. There's always got to be one.
I mean, I knew it was
giant.
coming, but it was a satisfying death. I'll give it.
Like that's the thing too. Like it felt good when it happened. Like I was like, all right, there was a significant amount of pain and/or suffering involved in this death. He needed that. Like that guy needed that.
The audience knew because they know the history of the alien blood being acid. Like, oh boy, he's about to have a world of pain if he doesn't figure out real quick. He needs to get away from that thing, and he just didn't figure it out fast enough. You know what I mean? It was very satisfying.
That pregnant lady, my God, she had a bum rap.
Right? Yeah, no, she had it the worst. That was for sure. Oh my goodness.
That's going to be another recurring theme with a lot of these movies that we're talking about tonight is pregnancies that are extremely complicated.
I like that actress too. I like that actress a lot. She's been in things that I've really liked her in.
I guess this is. I mean, Max or Justin, you guys want to go first on your thoughts about?
Oh no, you go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, just because here's the whole thing because I know we've been in a back and forth on the chat about it, Jay. But I did like the movie overall. I think it's a perfect. Here we go. It's fine.
Perfectly fine.
Perfectly fine.
Movie. It starts, it ends. It's fine.
There are sequences in it. It's very atmospheric. It's a great continuation of Ridley's visual and atmospheric aesthetic that he set up in the first movie. I feel it's very fitting that it does pick up basically with elements from the first movie. Although I'm like, didn't the Nostromo get vaporized? Why are there still fragments of it floating around? But I like the production design of it. There are some cool sequences. That is the most facehuggers I've ever seen together in an alien movie, and it creeped me the hell out. The acid blood in Zero Gravity was really ingenious. I felt tension about that. I'm sorry though, we're gonna have to talk about this. The point where it kind of pivoted for me into like, okay, now they're just playing the hits. It is the character that shows up who is basically, even though it is a brand new character or a character we haven't met before, visually though, it's a callback to a legacy character from the first movie. There's no reason it should be that character. There are many other synthetic models out there. We've had Michael Fassbender, we've had Lance Henriksen, we have a synthetic in this movie who he was really good too.
Yeah,
Andy was my favorite character. But again, synthetics come in all shapes and sizes. There is no reason other than blatant fan service for the diehards who remember the first movie for the character that shows up to be that likeness. And immediately when I saw that character, the entire narrative of the film shifted, where it was like, okay, we're echoing a fight in the vacuum of space. We're echoing, for some reason, get away from her, you bitch, which I hated that line came out of Andy.
Yeah, it felt so forced.
It was no point. The whole reason
he'd never even call anyone that.
Whole reason Sigourney Weaver says that in Aliens is because the whole movie's about moms who are really defensive and will fight other moms.
But Sigourney Weaver's character will say, "Get away from her, you bitch."
Yes.
Versus Andy will just be like, "Get away from her."
He sounded embarrassed to say it too.
Yeah,
he's like, "Get away from her, you bitch."
It's sort of like the same thing we're talking about with Hugh Jackman. Like when he cusses, it's weird because you're like, you're just a really nice guy. I don't see you saying that.
And Ridley Scott had to bring back his Prometheus stuff, which I think on its own would be fine, but the fact that he keeps trying to tie it back into the overarching alien stuff doesn't work for me. Like, he brought back Prometheus goo. And even though he didn't direct this, but you can't tell me that him being a producer, he wasn't like, oh, we got to have my goo in there.
Oh,
yeah,
Ridley
good.
Scott and Ridley Scott and James Cameron did have say on the scripts. Like, they were involved.
Yeah.
I don't know to what degree, but Freddie Alvarez did say they were involved. And the cameo you're talking about, that was a Ridley Scott thing. He got the permission from the family. And to be completely honest with you, I would have known that it was a callback because I've seen Aliens, and all of them one time. I've seen Prometheus twice because I really like Prometheus. I actually thought he did a really good job tying the Covenant and Prometheus stuff in.
I had a weird Mandela effect with Lance Henriksen. I thought he was in the first Alien movie as the synthetic. Yeah, so like my wife and I watched it recently, within the last year or so, where I was like, oh, okay, like my brain fixed itself. But I always put Lance Henriksen in that first one for some reason, and so like when if we hadn't watched it recently, then I would have been like, who the heck is that guy?
And like I said, that's why I was like, okay, this is clearly a callback designed for the ones who have stuck with this franchise since '79, who have been there since the beginning and are like entrenched. Like, I get it. And here's the thing, Jay, I don't mind that the family cleared on it. You know what? If they're gonna get compensation for that, fine. I have no problem with that at all. But it is a trend that I find very concerning, that I have noticed ever since Disney has acquired these properties from Fox Studios. We're getting a lot more of this type of stuff. And I'm not saying other studios haven't done this. I mentioned to you in the chat, Furiosa did it, actually. They had the likeness of an actor who had passed away in 2019 show up. But he shows up for like 9 seconds, has one line of dialogue, isn't a plot point necessarily. Like, the whole movie doesn't revolve around them being there or not. Here, again, this is why I felt the shift in the film. The whole arc of the story revolves around them discovering this character and this likeness. And then from there, it's really distracting that it's like, we're having another, we're having another Alien Resurrection hybrid baby. We're having, again.
I don't know why they had to touch on that note. I was like, and like, the thing is,
I liked it. Yeah, that was freaky.
The Alien Resurrection one's freakier. Like,
it looks the same. Like, I feel like, or like not exactly the same, but I'm like, that is like the same guy designed them. You know, it's like, oh, okay, he's got better technology now, so now it looks a little grosser. It's got, like different weird things. Right. But like, the monster is in essence the same.
Well, it was. They did use the same special effects team, or the same practical effects team from the first 4 Alien movies.
But it's also the fact that it's serving the same narrative purpose that the other one did back in '97.
Yeah, and it's like you're saying, like, it's just like a playback of like, this has got to happen, that's got to happen, that's got to happen. We got to have the goo.
Yep. part of me was like, is this just bothering me more because all this started after the reveal of that character? who's a clear callback. Like that was my main thing,
it's
because I was
twisting the knife.
with the movie for the first half of it. Like I like the setup of the first half where it's like these kids want to get off this shitty planet.
There's a reason that they're doing this, and it's not just like, oh hey, we need money or we're greedy and in like, okay, like they're being abused and extorted and what's the other word?
Exploited.
Exploited. There it is.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, we have a chance to break free of this. Let's go for it. Now, is it exactly legal? No, but like, what else is there to do?
It was going to be like a heist in space.
Yes,
Yeah,
and I was 100% on board for it. I was like, this is different, like, and that's cool.
You get the theme. You know, it's a recurring theme throughout all the Aliens movies so far. Weyland-Yutani sucks.
Yes.
You had that at the beginning of this movie because, that's a Weyland-Yutani planet, and they treat their workers like shit. But then it could just be like, hey, let's go up to this derelict space station. Let's get this stuff so we can get to our dream planet. And an alien shows up, and, it's that. And it could have just been that, and that would have been its nice self-contained story. But the fact that they also have to tie in, reminder, Weyland-Yutani's still a shit. Here's half an android to remind you.
And like, like I would have, I liked with the shift in Andy, I like that, like, they put the chip in and the chip is like, oh, well, this needs to be fixed and that needs to be fixed. But like they could have done that and it not have been that guy. It didn't have to be even the Nostromo. Like you're saying, like the Nostromo got vaporized. So like it could have just been another ship. They're like, okay, hey, this company sucks. We're good, but they always got to F with this alien stuff. Yeah. They always got to mess with it. Like they can't help themselves. Some poor kids happen upon it, and this happens.
Like I think at this point, it's well established. Weyland-Yutani is deep into xenomorph, whatever.
Yeah. Oh,
you could just assume they're doing something with xenomorphs in the background. It doesn't have to be a one-to-one connection with the first movie in terms of like, oh, they got it from the Nostromo, or they got it from, or they got the stuff from when in Aliens, when 426 is finally populated. Or it could just be like, no, Weyland-Yutani knows where these things are and is just dicking around with them in the background. Just assume that.
Right. And again, like, and that's the other thing is like where you don't need everything just spelled out in the movie with dialogue or whatever. Like you don't have to walk us through that. Like you can imagine these things coming together in any, like it's not a stretch to put that together.
But like I said, there was stuff that really did work. I liked a lot of the new kind of ideas and sequences they did. Like I said, the acid blood 0G stuff. I was like,
super cool.
That's kind of cool, honestly. I really
that was
dug
dope.
That. But it was just that I felt bombarded by a lot of the callbacks, and I just felt like it felt like I was more aware of them because of the fact we have for a deep fake. We have a deep fake that's a major plot point here.
You were. I watched the movie. I liked it. And here we go again. I like the movie. I'm putting my stamp on it. It is August 24th, 2024. Max says the movie was good.
So in 2029, you'll hate it.
Yeah. The next time we talk about it, I always hated that movie, but no, it was good. Like I liked it. I had a lot of fun. I thought, again, like the different things that they did. The 0G acid in particular, I really, really liked. I was like, okay, they are trying. They're trying to make a good alien movie, not like a lot of the Alien sequels.
Because Fede Alvarez, he also did the 2013 Evil Dead, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that I felt echoes of that a little bit too, where it's like, you know what? I kind of like the changes they're doing with this new setup of characters. Like, oh, we're getting into like talking about addiction and mental illness and things like that. It's getting a little bit more psychological than the first Evil Dead was. And then, in the last half of that movie, it's just like, nope, someone needs a chainsaw hand.
Don't ever watch that movie, Max. That movie will terrify you. Don't ever watch it.
Don't worry about it. I haven't watched it yet. I'm not gonna watch it now.
I think he can watch the post-credit scene. The post-credit scene, he can
like. Yeah, it's just a face. You can handle that.
It's a face.
But no, this one I was in for because I really Alien is one of my favorite horror movies of all time, and it I put a lot of stock in that because again, like you have to make a good horror movie for me to watch it and like it and watch it again. So that, the Alien sets a high bar, and I feel like they didn't. I feel like Alien's still better, obviously, and just because you hadn't when you see the monster, everything after that is worse. The build up is really the thing, and
the genie's out of the bottle, essentially.
Right. Yeah. You can't not know what you know about the monster, but when you don't know anything about it, that's what makes it really scary. So I feel like they did a good job. They twisting things, like you're saying, you've never seen that many face huggers in the same place at the same time, and that they would hop around and it's the many bugs thing for me. One bug is okay; it doesn't bother me at all. But when you get the swarm of them, that's low
key. I'm gonna be honest with you. Full-grown xenomorphs have never actually scared me. The face huggers are the scariest part of the franchise for me. Yeah, just because they are small, but the fact that
they're so invasive.
But that's the worst.
Yes, it's worse. Yeah,
it's because the alien just kills you. The alien just kills you. And in this movie, at least the alien was eating people. I dug that. I was like, oh, there's a nice little new thing. That's, and he's dragging the bodies off I'm hungry.
And that you actually see what happens in the full cycle. You have a straight up vagina in the wall that gives birth to a full grown.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, that's different.
I'm curious because we're getting Noah Wiley, who did Fargo, is doing an Alien series that comes out next year. And I don't remember where in the timeline it fits. I thought this was that. I didn't realize I didn't realize they were two separate things, but so I need to watch Prey because I've heard Prey is also really good.
Prey is great.
Prey is really good.
Prey was dope.
And honestly, if you were to do a TV show, I would say that Prey would be sort of the angle you want to go, where it's not a full do an anthology thing with Alien, like what they did with the Dark Horse comics. They didn't have necessarily an overarching story arc throughout the Aliens comic. They just told smaller vignettes about people coming into contact with xenomorphs and how these different people respond. I remember there's one short 6-page story in a Dark Horse presents thing that I read where one of the shittiest guys you could be a coworker with, they discover an egg, dude, gets a face hugger and then gets a xenomorph implanted, and the dude holds himself up inside the escape pod and everyone else is left to die. And then he comes out being like, "Oh my god, I tried to help, but the captain wouldn't hear of it." And he comes out a hero, but he's a selfish prick who saved himself.
I recently signed up for Audible, and they have some Alien audio series that they've been producing over the last few years. I'm going to check out because their Orphan Black series that they have on Audible is amazing. Tatiana Maslany, she's not just she's not just doing her normal characters. She's got new characters that she's voicing in this thing, and she's the narrator.
Characters instead of 9,
dude. I mean, and she sounds like a different person every time, from the narrator to it's unbelievable. But that's another day.
Always have my respect for Orphan Black because she made you feel like they were all different people.
Yeah, Max, we have one that we think is hotter than the rest.
The same chick. It's dude. What was it? Kazmina? What's
Asima?
Cosima. Yeah, yes, Cosima. Yeah. Hottest one out of all of them. We should, Jason. We should do a podcast lips where we rate 1 to 9.
Of all the clones.
Yes.
The only reason I remembered her name is because her wife showed up on the new from Black Echoes on AMC. But Justin, what'd you think? Besides the lack of characters.
Well, and to be fair, they did grow on me after a while. He's the main character, but for the majority of the movie, wasn't a big fan of the humans involved in that movie. But I guess my only caveat that Max and Mike didn't bring up was I didn't understand why the alien caught her to save her life with his tail. Do you guys know why? She was following the air. But what predator would do that? What predator it did either way? I get it's a cool thing to have happen in a movie, but it's just like
why?
I get it. Well, because they're reenacting that scene where alien will get sucked out into space possibly, but our hero might get sucked out into space too. So we're doing that scene again. How do we still got some time in movie to save? Like, what do we do? Alien saves her with tail. Sure.
It didn't make sense to me. That was the only thing that took me out of it. But.
It's also another thing too, because if they use the character, the pregnant chick, like they work her into that situation somehow, that makes a lot more sense. The alien's like, oh no, there's
a baby.
Yeah,
right. That's where my mind went. I was like, what if she's been like had a kid?
That's our baby.
Right,
kind of our baby. Also, I'm like,
I agree with you. That's like, it's just when.
You know what? People in research labs, they just need to finish watching the lab footage.
Right?
Like,
oh man,
like
that mouse footage.
Yes.
Yeah. Just finish watching the footage you recorded, and then be like, maybe it's not a good idea.
Oh my goodness. No, okay, like when Andy's like, you can take this, like you might live. I'm like, this guy already told you. This guy already told you the company comes first.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would you have to understand, like, the company comes first. Why would he tell you anything that's not going to benefit the company?
Yeah.
Like,
well, the one girl,
it helps them.
She told her not to take it.
I mean, she was. I get that she was desperate.
I get why she took it, but then like when they're having that little conversation, like, should she take it? I'm like, why are you even asking this guy? Like, anything he tells you, if he like,
he was very much being the whole Peter Griffin. Come on.
Yeah, that got me out. That took me out of it a little bit. I was like, you've seen what this guy can do. Like yep. You've seen him like betray you to your face. Like that was one point for me where I was like, this is dumb. Like,
why
said, would you even?
Still a good perforance though. Like,
yeah,
for sure.
Oh yeah,
solid performance.
I really like the movie. I am not gonna go back. I know there's a lot of rumors that I'm very wishy-washy on this stuff, but no, I really enjoy this movie. I agree. This is you can argue second or third best Alien movie.
Agree. Yeah, I'm nitpicky because it was so good and everything else. It's just like, man, if it had nailed that stuff, it would have been like a classic.
Oh yeah, home run, just like clean.
Yeah. And yeah, it's solid enough. It's just it's that one. I'm sorry, I can't let it go. It is that one thing that is like the linchpin of the whole movie for me. And like I said, I don't mind that there are people who are going to be compensated properly for them doing things like that. It's just I have a lot of concerns about that being a more recurring trend and stuff.
There is that, and then there's also like you can't write better than that.
Yeah, it has to be that.
Like what are we doing? What are we doing?
Well, I'm gonna tie it back into what we were talking about First Omen, Jason. Like I said, towards the end of First Omen, where all of a sudden it is starting to tie into what we know about the series. They are doing callbacks to what happens because it is a prequel and it's setting up what's going to happen in that first movie. But they do it subtly. They show you a photo of someone who is in the first movie and say, like, do this for this person. They don't actually bring that person out as a CGI puppet to be like, are you here to do something for me? Like, I'm like, no, it's a lot more subtle than that. It's trusting you to be smart enough to be like, I know that person from the first movie. I know what they're gonna do without actually, parading their digital corpse out. So,
yeah, I didn't like the look of it. I was like, because the technology for me is not there yet.
Yeah,
and like if you're gonna recreate a person,
as I understand it,
who lived. Then it's gotta. I lagged out.
Oh, that's okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no. I get what you're saying, Max. Yeah, it's not there. It was a combination of animatronics and deepfake, CGI deepfake type stuff. And the fact of the matter is, the first movie, when they did it practically with that same actor, it looked way better, and it was basically just like a head sticking out of a table. And like the actual like living, breathing actor like played it more artificial, like convincingly. Here, where it's like it looks like a cartoon.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he doesn't look real. Yeah, like it's and hey, okay, I agree with you, Mike. I'm not a fan of it. So like, if you're gonna do it, it better not. Like, you know, you're already pulling me out of this movie. Like with the story that you've chosen to tell, like don't make it worse by making the thing that you can't stand also just look fake. Like,
I didn't think it looked that bad, to be honest.
I haven't liked it yet. I have not liked one CGI face pasty.
And I think it's because it was Android, so again, it didn't bother me because the Android.
I mean, yeah, that could play into it too. Here's how it would have been okay with me if it just been like 1 30-second scene. But the fact that they keep coming back to it, like I said, it happens in Furiosa. They had someone resurrected via CGI in Furiosa, but it wasn't like a main player. Like their inclusion in the movie didn't necessarily propel the plot forward, you know, in significant ways the way it did here. Like it was just kind of, it was George Miller, I guess, paying respects to a friend by wanting to have him in the history of, you know, his Mad Max saga. Here, the fact that it's a character who's driving the plot and you keep coming back to it, it gets more and more it got more and more distracting for me the more they kept going back to it.
I agree. Yeah, it's just, it doesn't look okay, because again, and I'm coming from a whole different side of it, because I'm like, if you want to make a cartoon, then make one. I'll watch that. Like you got me already. Like animate it. Like let's go. But don't make thing that just doesn't look good. You know, I'm like, if you want it to be in real life, then it's got to be in real life. It's like you know, like people call like the Lion King remake live action. And I'm like, no, that's photorealistic. It's not live action.
I saw the trailer for that new Mufasa movie, and I'm like, it doesn't even look photorealistic anymore.
No.
Like it just looks like a really well polished cartoon. Like at this point.
Yep. And that's all it ever was. That's all it ever was. When you generate an image on a computer, you are animating. You're not. That's not.
All right, guys.
However much technology you want to use, you're still animating.
All right, let's give our ratings, and then I want to
Sure.
hear about Immaculate. I give it a 4.5 out of 5. It's my second favorite movie of the year, behind Planet of the Apes. I loved it. A part of the callbacks I didn't really notice because again, I haven't seen these movies.
Yeah, you're not as familiar with it.
I've only seen them over the years, maybe once. Not liking. I've liked the first 2 Alien movies, and I liked Prometheus. I like Prometheus a lot, and then Covenant was okay, and then 3 I couldn't finish, and 4 I saw in the Dollar Theater when it came out initially. I don't remember anything about it other than Joss Whedon wrote it.
Yeah. Ron Perlman in that movie.
Oh man, I forgot he was even in it. Oh.
Yeah, my favorite guy. You know, he plays the same guy he played in Blade Trinity.
Yep.
or Blade 2.
Blade 2, yeah.
Yeah, but it's the exact same guy.
I will say though, Sigourney Weaver alien hybrid kind of does it for me. She was pretty hot.
Oh, the kill me.
No, not that one. No, not that one. The one that lives. The Ripley that lived.
Oh.
The one influence that I did pick up in this movie that I dug is there's parts of this movie that feels like Alien Isolation, if anybody's played it, which is canon to the films.
Yeah.
And I liked that. And then I went back and saw that Fede Alvarez did, study the game too for
that makes sense.
A few of the things. He definitely captured that.
So maybe it was him. He was like, I have to take elements from all the Alien movies.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he leaned that way, but he obviously didn't get much resistance from higher ups to be like, yeah, sure, do that.
Oh yeah, because dude was like, oh, you put the goo in here? Oh shit.
I got the goo on me.
Hey, all right, goo. I haven't seen you in forever. Shit.
I do like that they left Ridley and Cameron's name off of it, because every time you hear about a new Terminator movie, they pray James Cameron out, and we all roll our eyes. Like hearing about it now at the movie, we've seen it and liked the movie, and now you can say, yeah, James Cameron and Ridley Scott, they had a hand in it, but don't tell us ahead of time, because I don't care.
Anytime Cameron got trotted out for Terminator stuff that didn't involve him directly, other than being a producer, I every time I see him, I'm just like, he's just thinking about his next Avatar movie. Like he's like, just give me the check for saying that. Yeah, this next Terminator is gonna be great.
Yes.
I gotta go film Kate. I gotta go drown Kate Winslet again.
Or Ocean Gate. He did like a whole documentary about Ocean Gate, I think, or did a bunch of interviews with that.
If it's not ocean related, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
I mean,
Justin,
he's like,
you
look,
give it.
You see how much money I spent on my submarine? You see how good this shit works? Like their shit was shitty. Like look at my shit.
That's kind of how I remember the conversation. That is kind of how it went.
He's like, I hired scientists and I listened to them and I built this thing. This
Mother
asshole
Nature.
over here.
Mother Nature's taking it back.
Oh my goodness. No, that's like I know it's like sad and like crap and terrible. I'm just not gonna say the terrible thing. I was gonna say a terrible thing. I'm not gonna say it.
Growth. Really growth we have on the podcast.
Oh my goodness. Yes, I'm gonna leave that one in my own way.
All right, Justin.
I'm an awful person.
I gave it a 4 out of 5. I really did like it. I think it was good. There's some small qualms about it, but yeah, that was good.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of go with the consensus here. I think Alien is such a great franchise. It is it's so iconic and epic and all that good stuff, and I thought this was a great addition to it. So this is a 4 out of 5 with a caveat of you have to kind of be into Alien. If you're not, then I don't see you. There's nothing really here for you. So like it doesn't kind of hold its own weight for that. Like I couldn't show this to my mom and be like, yeah, okay, there's aliens, but it's also everything else that you want to see. Like there's none of that. But yeah, no, I dug it for sure. I had a great time. I thought it was acted very well. Andy was such a great. I mean, the synthetics always have to. They're always the one who people are looking most at. I feel like. It's the synthetic is always a big part of the whatever's going on, and that whoever's playing the synthetic has got to bring it. And I thought Andy was a great synthetic. I mean, he had to play two or three different characters, because Broken Andy is not like freaking businessman Andy. Yeah, so it was dope. I had a lot of fun, and I liked everyone in this.
I want to see more of Rain and Andy. It doesn't have to be like an Alien movie. Just bring the characters back and throw them in like a Mad Max scenario. But I want to see these. I want to see these characters again because I like their story. I feel
in
like
the prequel where we find out how Andy ended up in the dumpster for her dad to find.
I don't want that. I don't want that.
There's no aliens at all.
It's gonna be Andy, an alien saga. I'm 2.5. I'm right down the middle. Like I said, I like the first half a lot and the promise it set up. But after the second half, despite having some good sequences, and like I said, the leads are good. But despite having some interesting sequences, like I just couldn't help but feel distracted by that significant thing and how the film kind of shifted after that for me. And again, that's just me because this movie's doing well anyway, so I'm glad it's doing well too, because honestly, Aliens is one of my favorite franchises too. So if we can get better stuff after this, absolutely. But it's right down the middle, 2.5 for me.
Nice. Mike, don't mute yet, man. You gotta tell me about Immaculate because I want to see this movie.
So since you're has anyone else seen Immaculate, or am I the only one?
I think I'm probably the only one who's heard about it other than you.
Yeah, this one's also on Hulu or Disney Plus or however you want to see it. It stars your girl Sydney Sweeney. She's carrying the film. She does a really great job in it. It's good. I was invested in it as much as I was invested in the First Omen. It doesn't take as many bold risks or choices as the First Omen does, I feel. But it is essentially the same as the First Omen. But the last 20 minutes to half hour are kind of wild. I'm not going to lie. Because they just dump everything on you there where it's like, it's actually this going on. And then there's like some mad scientist type of stuff worked into it. It's not just like, hey, satanic kind of cult stuff. No, it's like full on like, welcome to Jurassic Park. Kind of. So I'm like, it's on that level. And I'm kind of like, what? And the ending, I'd say that's a hell of a way to end your movie. Yeah. I'm not going to say anymore because if you genuinely want to see it, Jay, like, absolutely, I do recommend it. I like the First Omen probably more than this, but they're even keel. It's just that the First Omen went really hard, and Immaculate kind of plays it safe a lot sometimes. But Sydney Sweeney is really good in it, and I'd only known her. Here's the thing: I have anyone but you in my queue, and I've seen clips of Euphoria here and there. Certainly, I'd only known her from Madam Web.
Yes.
So
yes, her greatest role.
You haven't seen White Lotus?
I haven't seen the season. Was she in first or second season?
That's a good question. I think she's
because that's the thing. I've only seen the first episode of the first. I want to get White Lotus is also in my queue, and I just haven't gotten around to actually doing it.
Big queue. Yeah.
It's a big queue. It took me a while. It took me a while to warm to Sydney here because she is playing a reserved at first. Because I mean, yeah, she's the same kind of as the Margaret character from First Omen. So she's a little soft-spoken and reserved at first. But then when she has to go big and bold, like, man, oh man, it's something to watch. But yeah, it's on par with the First Omen, but I like First Omen a little bit more.
But yeah, first season of this. And then tell me about Miller's Girl, a movie that I've been curious enough. Like, I've been curious about it, but not curious enough to, like, dive into it. Because I do like.
Oh, that sign was heavy. Oh,
Martin Freeman and.
Yeah, it's okay. So the long and short of it is Jenna Ortega, and I want to stress this: she's an 18-year-old at a high school, and Martin Freeman is her English teacher, and they develop a tension.
She tries to seduce him, right?
Yeah, it's a weird kind of like bet with her friend. It's like a Cruel Intentions type of thing where she's like, oh, before I graduate, I'm going to get him. While her friend, who apparently is bisexual, is like, I'm going to get the PE teacher. The PE teacher is low-key down for it, too, which is weird.
That's like, yeah, that's.
It's
you see, I imagine it should be easier to get the PE teacher than
but then it gets into this whole thing of like where she's kind of being the predatory one, and Martin Freeman's just a dumbass who doesn't recognize like, oh shit, there should be a boundary here. But at the same time, he's the adult in the dynamic technically. So even if he is being portrayed as kind of sort of the victim, it's still on him. So as much as they're trying to paint Jenna Ortega as this, mwahaha, I gotcha. Like, it's like, nah, because she's still in high school. And also, the movie gives her a lot of faux pretentious dialogue and voiceover to talk about. Because it's about being into, like, literature and stuff like that. So the language gets very flowery. They attend poetry readings together. It's up its own ass a lot. And so that was driving me nuts because part of me is, and also it does the grievous sin of dropping my hero Jeff Buckley. They needle drop Jeff Buckley in the stupidest scene, and I hated it. So yeah, that one's a 1.5 for me. 1 star for having a Jeff Buckley song, even though I hated the placement of it. It's Jeff Buckley, so I like the music. And a 0.5 star for Jenna Ortega not bursting into laughter every time she had to read the dialogue that she had to read.
Yeah, I saw a trailer for it, looked okay, and then I saw another trailer for it that didn't look so good. And then I saw the reviews, And I'm like, I like both these people like so much. Like that's part of me that wants to see it. But then the other part of me is like, I don't want to ruin these two people for me.
I mean, they're trying.
I mean, hey,
They're trying.
Right, and you can't win them all, you know. Like people make bad movies all the time. You're like, there's no reason to, you know, if you enjoy them, then yeah, just hey, this one wasn't it, you know. And hey, like they got to work too, you know.
It's food for Netflix. It's food for the Netflix machine, is what it is. So yeah.
Nick Cage still gets a lot of good movies, even though all of his trash ones. So
what do you guys think about a challenge of like find 3 things that you've never like seen before or whatever on your choice streaming service and come back to the people with it? Like,
I mean, I'm doing it for you right now.
Mac.
Yeah, we're doing it right now.
I don't do it very often, but
I neither. I could be a part of that crew.
And speaking of Netflix, I'm gonna give the 1.5 stars for Miller's Girl, 1.5 stars for The Union that came out. What was it last week? That's the Mark Wahlberg, Halle Berry, whatever.
I
action
hate Mark
comedy
Wahlberg.
thing. Halle Berry, bless her, she is trying in this. J.K. Simmons is trying in this.
J.K. Simmons is dope.
Luke Cage is trying. Mike Coulter's trying in this.
Yeah, but Mike Coulter's not a very good actor, though.
But fuck me, I can't stand this Joe Schmo Mark Wahlberg shtick anymore. He's playing the same. I'm a regular working Joe dumbass.
Except I'm the fucking best.
Except I'm the fucking best. I'm secretly the baddest ass here
of all time.
Like,
my name is Marky Mark.
Ever was.
Like I can't, and I called the twist like 5 minutes into it because they do the whole, this character's on the bridge. This character got shot on the bridge and fell off of the bridge. They're doing the whole twist from the first Mission Impossible movie. I was like, oh, okay, I know who the bad guy is. So I was just waiting for it for the whole movie. I'm like, yep, there he is.
Hey.
Got it.
Long time no see.
So, but as I said on my Letterboxd review, I gave it 1.5 stars because I did not recognize Lorraine Bracco or Adewale from Oz.
Okay.
They look totally different from the last time I saw them, which is on HBO shows. I was just like, I'm like, oh my God, Lorraine Bracco? Man, she's got some gray hairs now, but I didn't recognize. And Adewale, oh my God, he beefed up a lot.
Oh wow.
I was like, Jesus.
Nice. Yeah, my reviews will be back next week, guys. I kind of went down a rabbit hole. My TikTok reviews are doing so well, viewership, so thank you, guys. I went down a rabbit hole of Lacey Chabert Hallmark Christmas movies. I'm not going to review those, so don't worry about that. It's just
you should review all of them.
I watched 6 of them.
6.
I kind of have a crush right now, Justin.
How many are there?
On Lacey
How many are there?
She has like hundreds, Max. Hundreds.
That's been like her main income for a while now, too, right?
It? I thought she only recently came to the hall, like 3 or 4 years ago. Has it been longer? Okay,
like
wow.
2013, 2012, I think is.
Okay.
Yes.
Good for her for making the money.
Hey,
she's the
do
best.
whatever.
She's
I
the
don't
best
gotta
of
watch
those Hallmark movies, everybody. So. But guys, like, comment, subscribe. We'll talk the news next week. We're running out of time, but have a great day.
What about the Crow?
Oh God, the Crow's gonna suck.
Haven't seen it.
The Crow's gonna like that. Come on, dude, get out of here.
I'm gonna go watch the '90s one right now.
Oh
later,
my goodness.
Guys.
Mike, would you prefer like a featuring Mike McGee or like a
I'm cool with that.
special guest?
And
He's on the podcast more than you and I are.